Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
16 police officers have been injured during protests sparked by the police shooting of an African-American man in Charlotte, North Carolina. Keith Lamont Scott was shot by a black officer yesterday and died in hospital. Local police said he was repeatedly told to drop his weapon and posed an imminent deadly threat. Relatives, though, said he wasn't holding a weapon, but a book. The unrest came a day after police in Oklahoma admitted a black man they'd killed on Friday was unarmed, as Simeon Brown reports.
All I want them to do is hold their partners accountable for what they do, right?
This was Charlotte in North Carolina last night. Suited like a military force, armed officers from the Charlotte and Mecklenburg police departments moved in to force back the protesters who had shut down the freeway and set it on fire using the cargo of blocked lorries. Some of the protesters appeared to be just schoolboys. This one is throwing rocks, which were the preferred weapon against officers who were armed with tear gas, but had promised to show restraint.
It's been a long night. We've been to several different locations. We tried to have as much liberty as possible with the protesters and allow them to peacefully protest.
The spark for the latest battle between African Americans and the police was the killing of 43-year-old Keith Lamont Scott. He was shot dead in the car park of his apartment by armed police officers. His family say he was unarmed and reading a book, but that's not the police version of events. They say he was armed and posed a deadly threat. But it's not the first time this week the police account is facing scrutiny. On Friday in Oklahoma, Terrence Crutcher was shot dead by state law enforcement. They said Mr. Crutcher failed to comply with the orders of officers, but their story has been questioned since the emergence of dashcam footage showing Mr. Crutcher with his hands on his head shortly before being shot.
Following commands.
Back in North Carolina, community leaders have now called for economic disruption.
But what we're standing up for now is our black manhood and our black people who are being gunned down in the street, and we don't get no justice. So what I'm calling for and what we're calling for is an economic boycott of the whole city of Charlotte. Since black lives do not matter for this city, then our black dollar shouldn't matter.
They believe economics can spur change, but that may be outweighed by the political impact of pictures like these on just who becomes the next president of the United States. The Republican candidate has been touring the state here. According to polling, it's neck and neck, but there's a familiar dividing line. Hillary Clinton has the support of 98% of black voters here, whilst Trump has 2/3 of the whites' vote. In a campaign already marred by conflict, these scenes are another snap of the divided state of America.
Simeon Brown reporting.
I've been getting